I want to get you out the door with every result from every league in under 15 minutes, so that you're more informed about what's going on in the world of sports.
Hey TJ, what's going on? I'm Chandler and this is Tiger Beat Sports.
Hey everybody, I'm Chandler Sports and this is the Sport Report.
And I'm Chandler and this is Tiger Beat Sports. Welcome to a special edition of this all-crazy sports newscast.
Broadcasting from somewhere in the United States.
Hit it, Blaze.
This is the Sport Report.
Friday, June 14th, 2019.
Hey everybody, I'm Chandler with Sports, and this is the Sport Report. It's time to get you caught up on what's happening in the world of sports. This is Top of the Order.
In a year that has been so improbable, the impossible has happened.
This is Top of the Order.
Our top story comes from Oracle Arena, the final game at Oracle Arena in Golden State. The Golden State Warriors fell to the Toronto Raptors 114-110. Toronto wins their first ever NBA championship. It's Canada's first championship in a North American sport since 1993, when the Montreal Canadiens won the Stanley Cup and the Toronto Blue Jays won the World Series. Now Canada holds America's trophy, the Raptors holding the NBA title, and America holds Canada's trophy, St. Louis Blues holding the Stanley Cup. Kawhi Leonard, who was traded from the San Antonio Spurs last season, was named Finals MVP, the third player in history to win it with two different franchises, the first to win NBA Finals MVP in separate conferences. Kawhi had 22 points and 6 rebounds, while Pascal Siakam had 26 points and 10 rebounds for the Raptors. Kyle Lowry also had a double-double, 26 points, 7 rebounds, and 10 assists for the man who's been in Toronto for the longest time through the ups and the many downs, and now he gets an NBA championship to go on his career resume. For Golden State, they lost Klay Thompson, who had 30 points before he tore his ACL in the third quarter. He'll be out till late February, early March of next season. Joining Kevin Durant on the sidelines, who tore his Achilles. He'll be out for the entirety of next season from the looks of it. Kevin Durant also is heading into free agency, so his injury could play a factor into where he will play his basketball next season if he plays at all. Steph Curry had a chance to win the game for Golden State with a three-pointer, but he missed. 21 points on the night for Steph to go along with 7 assists. Draymond Green becomes the 7th player in NBA playoff history to have a triple-double in an elimination game. 11 points, 19 rebounds, and 13 assists. That covers the NBA Finals. We'll have Sport Report NBA correspondent Braden Magnus on tomorrow's episode to recap the entirety of the NBA playoffs. Now we transition to a recap of the NHL playoffs. We waited a full day to report on the Stanley Cup as a whole, so that we weren't the first to report on the Stanley Cup, nor that we rushed some true, genuine thoughts in this recap. We go out to Sport Report NHL correspondent Jack Esper, who made it back safe and sound to the studio.
At least this time, you didn't leave me in the frozen tundra of Winnipeg.
In our defense, we actually don't really have a defense.
Whatever. Anyway, you here to talk hockey?
Yes, we are.
Excellent. Lord Stanley Cup was claimed 2 nights ago by the St. Louis Blues. It was not easy, but for a team that was dead last in the NHL on January 7th, this was something special. The Blues had to deal with a lot of obstacles, and it first started with the Jets in Winnipeg. No need to bring that up. Then moved on to Dallas, where it took double overtime to advance. Then the refs. Then the San Jose Sharks. Then, finally, the Boston Bruins on their home ice in Game 7. Did we mention that the Blues have a rookie goaltender named Jordan Bennington, as well as an interim head coach named Craig Berube? Yeah, they didn't have the qualifications of a normal team. Then again, this wasn't a normal year. When was the last time the NHL's best team went to the playoffs and didn't make it out of the first round? The 1995 and 96 Detroit Red Wings. That's the last time. Before this year's Tampa Bay Lightning. Boston had the road all laid out for them, and they couldn't even finish it off at home in their first championship-clinching Game 7 opportunity in the city of Boston in over 35 years. Instead, a team left for dead 5 months ago ends the season on top and also got to hoist Lord Stanley's Cup by defeating the next best possible team. Essentially, it was David versus Goliath, and in the end, David wins again. Next season will be interesting. I'll return in October with more hockey.
You're not returning in October, my friend.
Why?
Because we're promoting you from an NHL correspondent to an all-sports correspondent. You may stay on NHL, but we want you on here more often. And October is too long before we can hear from you on important sporting events. So pack your bags. Women's World Cup is calling, and your flight leaves for Paris in the morning. Don't worry, we doubt we can lose you in France.
That doesn't sound too reassuring, but if something does go wrong, at least I can buy a baguette and come back home to slap you with it.
You'll be fine, I think. Now, go get some rest. Thanks to senior Sport Report correspondent Jack Esper for recapping the NHL. Now on to the event that he'll be covering, the Women's World Cup.
Name on the trophy. And Solskjaer has won it! Manchester United have reached the promised land.
This is your soccer update. There were 2 games on the Women's World Cup schedule. In the early game in Group C, Australia came back from 2-0 down against Brazil to win 3-2. Brazil scored an own goal in the 66th minute, and that would prove to be the difference maker because the own goal that they scored turned out to be Australia's 3rd goal. Australia 3, Brazil 2. The second game, China scored a 40th minute winner to take down debutants South Africa. South Africa is now in 4th place in Group B, China in 3rd, level on points with Spain, but behind on goal difference by 1 goal. In Group C, Brazil is in 1st place, Australia in 3rd, with Italy and Jamaica yet to play their second matches. That'll happen today. On today's calendar, speaking of Jamaica and Italy, they play at noon Eastern. In Group D, at 9 a.m. Eastern, Scotland and Japan. And then 3 p.m. Eastern, England and Argentina. Now to the final event of the night, Major League Baseball.
Derek Jeter with one of the most unbelievable plays you will ever see by a shortstop. Ortiz into deep right field. Back is Sheffield. We'll see you later tonight.
Someday the Chicago Cubs are going to be in the World Series.
Now from Major League Baseball.
There were 11 games on the Major League Baseball slate, but only 10 of them actually finished. We start in Washington, where the Arizona Diamondbacks defeated the Washington Nationals 5-0. Zach Greinke had a no-no through 6 innings, but it was broken up by Trey Turner's hit in the 7th. Greinke improves to 8-2 on the season with a 2.65 ERA for the Diamondbacks. Atlanta Braves 6, Pittsburgh Pirates 5. Julio Teheran improves to 5-4 with a 2.92 ERA for the Braves. Minnesota Twins 10, Seattle Mariners 5, Toronto Blue Jays 12, Baltimore Orioles 3, LA Angels 5, Tampa Bay Rays 3. Albert Pujols hit his 200th home run with the LA Angels. He's now hit over 200 home runs with his former club, the St. Louis Cardinals, and now the LA Angels. It's his 645th career home run. He's only 111 behind Hank Aaron and 117 behind Barry Bonds, but Hank Aaron is still the home run king. Pujols is also the 6th player in history behind Jimmy Fox, Ken Griffey Jr., Mark McGwire, Rafael Palmeiro, and Manny Ramirez to hit 200 home runs with multiple teams. Kansas City Royals 7, Detroit Tigers 3. For the first time in Major League history, a Major League Baseball game was played in the state of Nebraska, the Husker State. It was played in Omaha ahead of the College World Series, which takes place in Omaha from Saturday, June 15th until June 26th. Let's continue in Major League Baseball. Chicago White Sox 5, New York Yankees 4, Colorado Rockies 9, San Diego Padres 6. Charlie Blackmon hits 2 homers and has 4 RBIs as John Gray picks up his 6th win of the season for the Rockies. The Rocks are 36-32, while the Padres are 33-36. They're all behind the LA Dodgers, who defeated the Chicago Cubs 7-3. Clayton Kershaw improves to 6-1 with a 3.13 ERA for the Dodgers, while John Lester falls to 5-5 on the season for the Cubbies. Cody Bellinger also added 2 homers for the Dodgers. Boston Red Sox 7, Texas Rangers 6. The Red Sox trailed 6-1 at one point in this game, but came back to win 7-6, scoring the game-winning run in the bottom half of the 7th. Xander Bogaerts hit a game-winning home run in that 7th inning. In the final game of the night, the one that was not completed, St. Louis Cardinals 4, New York Mets 4. The game was suspended in the bottom half of the 9th inning due to rain. It'll be picked up later today. Some other news and notes from around sports. Shohei Ohtani from the LA Angels becomes the first Japanese-born player to hit for the cycle, meaning he had a single, double, triple, and home run in the same game. He's also the first Angel to do it since Mike Trout did it in 20 2013. In cycling, Chris Froome will miss Le Tour de France after fracturing his fibula while practicing for the fourth stage of a race in France, which is one of the precursor races to Le Tour de France. And finally, some sad news that came across late last night. Pat Bowlen, the former owner of the Denver Broncos, has died at the age of 75. He's been an owner since the early 1980s, and due to some health issues, his family have tried to take over the Broncos, but the Broncos are engaged in an ownership dispute with a 3-person trust that includes current president and CEO Joe Ellis. It'll be interesting to see how that ownership dispute plays out over the coming weeks and months. Rest in peace, Pat Bowlen. Thank you for all of your contributions to the game of football. Okay, we can't end this on sad news, so we're going to have some happy news. David Ortiz is up and walking around a little bit in the ICU after getting shot in Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic this past Sunday. He is expected to make a full recovery after the shooting, as the police down in the Dominican Republic have arrested at least 7 people in connection with this hit. Someone was offered $7,800, which is about 400,000 Dominican pesos, to take out David Ortiz. Good thing is he is up and moving around and making steady improvements day by day. That's the Sport Report for Friday, June 14th, 2019.
For now, I'm Chandler.
Thanks for tuning into the Sport Report today. We'll be back tomorrow with the latest in sports. Do you want to contact Chandler Sports or members of the Sport Report team? Visit sportreportcws.com. This podcast is copyrighted by the Sport Report for viewers to understand sports from a news reporting basis. Any other use of this podcast, Sport Report logos, or anything associated with this podcast without the express written consent of Chandler Sports is strictly prohibited.